Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About, a series spotlighting leaders, authors, artists, marketers, creators, and entrepreneurs sharing tips and expert advice on business, media, technology, and frankly, life itself. I'm your host, Cynthia Nelson, three-time entrepreneur, Forbes contributor, investor, and advisor. Today, we're talking to Scott Desgrosseilliers, founder and CEO of Wicked Report. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Cynthia.
And where are you calling in from today? I always like to know where everybody's located.
Sure. I'm in a place called Marblehead. Well, I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts, about 15 miles north of Boston along
Yep.
the coast. And my office is in Salem,
Yep.
famous witch trials. So I'm
Yeah, I was gonna say
right
that's what
outside
everybody
all that stuff.
that's what everybody thinks about, right? Salem is like the first thing that comes to mind.
Well, it's like a year-round tourist industry now. I mean,
It's
Halloween's the
crazy.
Super Bowl here. It's kind
Oh,
of amazing at
yeah, I
Halloween.
was gonna say there must be a ton of things going on, right?
There is. It picks up September and then it's absolute bedlam. So like at lunchtime in October,
Yeah.
there'll be people in very elaborate hollow movie level costumes like Pinhead or like
Oh my God.
Freddy or
Oh,
all those like look just like them, just roaming around the streets. So
that,
it's pretty fun
that
actually.
is creepy and cool all in the same.
Yes.
So thanks so much for joining us on the show. I want to get a little bit on your background first before we dive into the questions. Kind of tell me how you got where you're at with Wicked Reports. Like what brought you to this area?
Sure. So I'm someone who's always loved using data to solve puzzles, even when I was, a kid. I was just really enjoyed that type of stuff, trying to predict using math, kind of nerdy thing that I just always liked to do. And so I was a database administrator who then was also moonlighting to do CRM consulting. And a friend of mine was struggling with Facebook. He was actually going to
Mm,
give up Facebook because he said it's not working.
mm,
And I thought it would because he ran a lobster business and I thought it was a pretty unique e-commerce thing. This was back
yeah,
in like 2014,
yeah,
13. And so I spliced together some way to track the delayed conversion time of his ads. So people would click on Facebook ads, opt in on his email list, even though it was a pure e-com play,
right.
and then buy off his very well-written emails down the road. And so I was able to stitch that back and then word spread and then maintaining all that, I needed to start building software because doing it by hand every time someone
Yeah,
wanted to check their data was,
yeah,
brutal.
yeah.
And it turned into, that a lot of people had the same issue and still do now, which is
Right.
what's working in my marketing and what's not. It's actually got more challenging to solve, not less. So it's why we have a business. That's what we solve.
It's interesting because what you just said is so true. Nothing has changed. It's actually gotten more complicated. And I hear it all the time too. It's not working. What's not working? It's not working. It's like, okay, wait. And the data is really key. So the inspiration for Wicked Reports really came out of your knowledge of helping people and actually figuring out that puzzle. And you have this system called Five Forces. What does that actually do?
So the five forces came about, one from doing this for 26,000 hours. So I do know what I'm
Oh,
talking about. That's more than I recommend you spend on marketing
you are an
attribution.
expert now. What did it say? 10,000 hours. You can play the violin. You're definitely an expert.
Well, you're either an expert or you just can't learn it, one or the
Yeah.
other. I like to think I'm the first.
Yeah.
So, Five Forces came about repeatedly seeing the same issues crop up, which is that marketers are very good with marketing strategies, creativity, and strategic thinking,
Right.
but they're not necessarily as strong in measurement strategy. And that's because they don't have enough time in the day. Marketing
Yeah.
and marketing strategy that's a 50-hour week right there.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily need 50 hours a week for measurement, but you do need a lot of time and expertise that, people just haven't had the training or they get busy and they try to rush through the stats and just look real quick.
Right.
And so when we went to train up our AI inside of Wicked Reports, I didn't want to have a chatbot because you have to start from scratch every day.
Yep.
And chatbots are great for certain things, but not for
Yep.
data analysis.
Yep.
You need it to remember what it's done, and you need a consistent methodology applied. There's certain ways you should measure certain types of full funnel marketing, and it's different based on what your intention is.
Right.
And so that was, what attribution model should I use? Is a couple is what you should use, and it depends on all the strategies you're running. But then that's time consuming. So it set about was training our AI so that it would run the measurement strategy for our marketers. our customers and brands that are running their marketing strategies? How can we make it so that they're always getting the right advice from their data? So that was how Five Forces came to be.
That's amazing because it is such a jumbled mess out there. And you're right, you don't have time as a marketer to run the data, and you're looking at data as a slice of time, that things that already happened versus the predictive analysis of what could happen based on these new inputs and
Exactly.
based on historical what has worked historically doesn't always work in the future. What are those telltale signs, and finding those kind of nuggets uh or diamonds in the rough, it's really tough.
Well, we
And
have a
I
couple hundred data points per click because there's the
yeah,
different ways you can choose to. Attribution's about creating a scoreboard for your marketing.
right,
And just like in a sporting event, all the different players have their individual stats. The offense and defense have their stats, then the team, the coach. That's like marketing. You have all these different stats going on, and then you
right,
have the trend where it's going up or down. And is that trend going to get to a place where it's a good situation for you or bad?
right,
So there's a lot to take in. I realized as I was articulating, trainings that ended up being too long to watch because then I was like, who's
right,
going to do all this? I'm
yeah,
shocked we have a successful business. People
right,
do. I was like,
yeah,
I got to make this easier. And now it's click a button and we got it down to, well, speaking of the busy marketers,
yeah.
the end goal of this is scale, chill, or kill. We want to get every campaign down to one word, which chill's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Chill means you can chill out because what you're spending, you can keep spending.
right. And it's running. Kill, you need to know as much as chill. Like
Kill, you got to
this ain't
go, I
working,
need
we
to
gotta
go,
go
how do
buy.
I diagnose and
Right,
improve it? Or
right.
else I have to start over, which I mean, marketing takes a while to get the right campaign
Oh,
going, all the
completely.
creatives. You don't want to be like, oh man, I got to kill it and start over.
Exactly. You've worked with companies like Motorola, Quest Diagnostics. How has that shaped marketing attribution, data analytics? Because they're totally different companies, right? Really
They
different.
are apartments.com, a couple others. So well, what I found was that a couple things in every company, big or small, you can have all the data in the world, but if you don't act on it and then check and see your results from the actions,
Doesn't
it's
matter.
pointless.
Right? Yeah,
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 every company's sitting on a pile of data that could
yeah,
help them.
yeah.
And so, but then that's easier said than done because then everyone can take their different, well, I mean, just like in politics and in the world,
Oh,
you can
yeah,
take the data and shape it however you want.
yeah.
So our barrier for marketing attribution, what I took from those things is that we have our sweet spot is e-commerce 3 to 60 million in revenue. We have
Hmm.
smaller, we have bigger, we have other business models and they can be happy and successful, but that's our sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's like they need to be able to make decisions that either make or save them money, or
Hmm.
else why are they going to pay for this data? They're not going
Right, right,
to.
right.
So
No, completely.
so that's the difference. What I learned, you can't just sit on data. And then I was like, okay, I have to be able to tell them scale this, spend more, chill, which means good news, you don't have to do anything, or
Right,
kill, you got work to do, and then give them a diagnosis, kind of like a doctor, a diagnosis framework to get in there and solve it. Because otherwise, well, one, why are they going to pay us? But I saw a lot of analysis paralysis in
oh,
those.
yeah.
That was
Oh,
probably the biggest thing. And
and over and over and over, like it's like taking lint out of your navel. Seriously, right? It's like, yeah, and you're right. You can spin the data however you want. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really help when you're marketing and you're actually spending money every single minute of every single day and watching it like the stock market. I mean, you have these screens in front of you and you're watching how things transpire. And actually, even I would say like reporting those back up the chain, right, to the CEO of like marketing takes time to build the audience takes time. Here's what we see in the data. If that changes, we will change our approach. There's not always a lot of patience.
That's why the five forces we have, you set your scale, kill, and chill zone based on the intention of the marketing and then based on the intention determines what is the most critical KPIs. And you create what is going to make you act before you launch the campaign. Because interesting, you mentioned stock trading. That was my
Yeah.
background before I got into
Ah,
data.
there you
And
go.
so you could have the best system on paper, and this was back in the late 90s. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
systems weren't that good.
Yeah. Oh, no,
But
completely.
not only do you have to have the right system, you paper trade it, but then you had to act when it came because you wait and you're costing yourself thousands of dollars literally every second in some cases.
Yeah.
So there's really, you had to know ahead of time how you're going to act. So I took that same concept and applied it to marketing attribution. Not that you have to day trade your account, but more you want to know what you're going to do so you're not emotionally reacting when, like, if I tell you, hey, your customer acquisition costs are $55. Like you might be like, oh, that's is that good or bad? You're like, well, you need to know whether it's good or bad,
Yeah,
but you need to
exactly.
not set one point in time, one goal, because then you're either above it or below it every day, and then that causes psychic stress and then thinking, and then you dig around. You might make decisions or
Knee
not make
jerk.
decisions that you should.
Yeah.
So instead, you create a range or a zone where you're going to be chill. And then that zone could be customer acquisition cost or ROAS. There's a couple others.
Yep.
That zone lets you know ahead of time and then lets the attribution data and the advice engine that we built know, oh, good news, you can chill out here. And so ideally, we're saving you the time and bucketing all the ad spend into one of those three categories so you know where there's work to do and where you can, just carry on with your day, hopefully.
I love that. That's it's a great way of thinking about it. Analytical but actionable, which I
Yeah.
think is very key. Um, first party data is becoming so important. What do e-commerce brands need to be doing to future-proof their attribution strategies?
Well, collecting of first-party data, because at any time the paid platforms switch their algorithms,
Oh
and then
yeah.
you're out of luck, or you're in more luck, or you're temporary in luck, and you're not.
And then you're
Or
not really
inflate how well
quickly.
they're doing all the time, too. They're
Exact
constantly, saying they're
exactly.
making more money than they're making for you. And
Yep.
we know that because we can add up the attributed revenue reported by the platforms in your email and SMS, and it's sometimes over double what you actually made.
Yeah.
So you know that, okay, that can't be true.
Right.
So, I mean, that's your biggest at next to actually customers and revenue. Then having the first party data, the email addresses at a minimum enables you to have some control over your fate because you can then
Yeah.
market to them on your own for free,
Yep.
or you can target the precise people in the platforms, or you can tell the platforms what type of customer you want using these historical.
Right.
So it's critical. For attribution, it's great because we use when they first appear in the CRM as that line in the sand of they went from cold traffic to warm because
Mm-hmm.
it's a very significant conversion event.
Mm-hmm.
You can go click on a website and lurk around, but if you're willing to share your info, because then you're like, I'm gonna get emails, I'm gonna get SMS, I'm gonna be
Right.
retargeted everywhere.
Right.
If they know what they're doing, they're gonna do all those things. So I'm now willing to submit myself to that.
Right.
So that's
Right.
a big conversion already. So if you
Right.
can get that one, that's an earned piece of value, but also because you can do those actual things that people are willing to sign up for.
Yeah.
So
And
to
it's
me, it's
it's
critical because it's something you have control over.
yeah, people kind of laughed at it for a while, right? Email marketing is dead and you know, you just do everything on social. And I was like, I always said like, yeah, but
It's
what if they change their mind? And then you
Yeah.
hear, and then you hear, of course, oh, it's not working. Facebook changed their algorithm. Well, yeah, no, no, no shit. Yeah, because they need to make more money. Like they're not in this to make you money.
They're not
It's
going to keep the prices
yeah.
aren't coming down,
No,
but
they're
we
not.
still have people that are achieving great success, and that's the ones that have adapted and that they have enough. So also, yeah, emails converts the best
Yeah.
at Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for example.
Yeah,
You get the
completely.
emails online for the deals, but then you're getting emailed the deals, and
Yeah.
people look through there and they'll try and click on old ones and
Yep.
see all that behind the scenes that yeah, I mean anyone that's doing and also then when you convert people on email, that makes your ads more valuable that got them on the email list if you have the right attribution tool. We
Right.
stitch that together with like a lifetime look back. So that if you like, let's say you ran a Mother's Day promotion and got a bunch of leads and they didn't buy, or
Right.
Father's Day or whatever, and then they buy on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, then you're like, wow, I had all that business. Where did they come from? Well, they didn't come from Black Friday, Cyber Monday. They came from a while.
They're
The ads that got them to get that email
from the
are
beginning.
actually more valuable than you thought, and
Yeah.
that we see that all pretty much every brand we have that we see that.
Yeah, there's the whole kind of notion of burning your list. Like I understand when people send email after email after email, but they send them for a reason. You obviously are interested in something that they have to say, and you may not buy now, but it's intriguing psychologically the more you see them. I mean, sometimes they're annoying, but you still keep them. I have a couple in my inbox that like I'm not really buying it right now, but I have bought before. And thanks for keeping me up to date on what you've got.
You want to stay on you want them on the radar.
Yeah. Yeah, I want them
Yeah.
on the radar in case some cool sale comes up or something happens. I'm not responding to them right now. Sometimes I open them, sometimes I don't. But it's a consumer behavior that I think is underappreciated by some marketers who have great email lists of like, oh, I don't want to burn it. I only want to send out so many. It's like, yeah, there is overkill, but there's always going to be underkill
I've
where it
seen both. I've seen all strategies and yeah, I mean,
depends.
all of them can work. I
Yeah.
mean, I see people that email every day, and
Yeah.
I see emails that I think are horrible, and they make a lot of money, and
Yeah.
ones that look beautiful, and no one cares.
I know.
That's where data. I mean, everyone says, "I get checked," but this is like real. I mean, email data doesn't lie. People, if
No.
you sent it for them to buy, and they either clicked and bought or they didn't. There's no
Ex
getting around it.
Yeah, it's one way or the other. It's pretty clear. And unless they completely spend the time to go to the bottom of the email and opt out, you still have them.
Yep,
And they're just,
exactly,
it's like, it's just no, but it's just not right now. Just not right
exactly.
now.
Hmm.
What do you think are some of the biggest mistakes marketers make when interpreting data, and how do you kind of help them avoid the pitfalls? We've talked about it a little bit, but is there anything that like pops into your head about interpretation of,
Yeah, the
existing
biggest
data?
one is using one attribution model.
Okay. Yeah.
Which not even getting too technical with it, but I mean, would you measure your height using a scale?
Right. Right. Right.
I mean, you wouldn't. You'd use the right measurement tool for whatever you were trying to measure. Do you measure how fast you ran by
Right.
what you weighed that day?
Your heart monitor.
No, like you
Exactly.
got to use the right measure for the right tool. So as a full funnel marketer, there's ways you should measure top of the funnel advertising and the ways you should measure bottom of the funnel and ways you should measure lead gen. They're very different because you look at different points in time and
Yeah.
there's different amounts of credit in the future you might give them.
Hmm.
So, and we take care of all that complexity. You just tell us what you're trying to do, and then we measure the right way for you. I mean, you can get in the weeds if you want.
Yeah.
That one's a big one, without a doubt. The other one is not having a set range in mind. That means continue spending
Hmm.
set before you launch the campaign. So people say, "Yo, I know my KPIs. I've done the funnel math. I got to buy customers at $50." I'm like, okay, well, how much lower does it mean I want to spend a lot? And if you keep coming in at 55, does that mean you have to stop?
Right.
And so we got formulas that help people set the right zones so they know if there's an actual problem or not. And it's not a day-to-day, it's like stock trading. It's not a day-to-day fluctuation. If you're holding for your retirement, then
Right.
you want to get a certain return over time, not like in a day.
Right.
So that
Right.
one's another one. The third thing is looking at cost per click.
Yeah.
That's a useless metric,
Yeah.
really. Well, it's not useless, it's what you're getting charged. But
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of times why people are more expensive to click on is because they're actually valuable people with a lot of money that aren't on social that much because maybe they're making 400 grand in their day job and they're who you're desperate to get and everyone's bidding on those people,
Right.
either through their
Right.
lookalikes or whatever. It's an auction.
Yeah.
So an auction, things cost more because they're more valuable, and it's because
Supply and
there's more
demand.
demand. And the demand isn't just Zuckerberg sitting there, how do I buy another massive yacht? Although that might be sometimes why.
You
But
never
it
know.
could just be, hey, there's 5,000 advertisers trying to get this person that's only online for 10 minutes a day on Instagram. So you got to pay to get their attention, and you can pay it or not. But if you've got a measurement that shows, well, they cost $5 a click, but one out of every 100 buys, which is 500, but I'm selling something for 2,500 bucks. You're
Right.
actually making 5 to 1 instead of going, oh, I don't want to pay $5 a click. I want to pay 20 cents a click. 20 cents is someone online 4 hours a day working no offense meant to these people, but someone maybe working minimum wage on the phone all day that can't afford what you're selling, and that's why the traffic's cheap.
Right.
People don't,
Right.
so I don't like to look at, you got to look at cost per click because it drives what you're spending. But if your funnel math makes sense, that you actually want to be bidding more because you know you're getting those higher value clicks if you can
Exactly.
measure it, that is.
Those are great points. Scott, if people want to work with you, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way?
So the best way is wickedreports.com. We have interactive demos on there, and then you can book, if you like what you see, you can book a live Zoom with at your convenience. We touched on the five forces. Anyone interested in measurement, methodologies or systems or, like the thing I talked about with attribution modeling, O5 forces will clue you in on that. There's a course you can take. And I'm on LinkedIn, Wicked Report Scott. You can find me that way. And
Awesome.
that's how you can find me.
Awesome. Scott, thanks so much for being on the show and congratulations on everything that you're doing. It's like I love data, but with reality checks along the way and making it clear and concise for everybody. I think that's so important and it's so needed. It's not going away. This is only growing.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Cynthia. Appreciate it.